Before history was written, there were accounts of giants described in old texts walking the earth among mankind. Then the sky broke open and the flood changed everything.
Before time was measured and before man fully understood the heavens, there were those who descended, watchers from realms beyond the veil. They walked among humanity, breaking the sacred boundary between the seen and the unseen. And from that forbidden crossing came giants, born of heaven's corruption upon the earth. The world groaned under what should never have been created. And heaven did not stay silent. Visions were revealed, of stars falling, of kingdoms shaking, of the sky itself unraveling like burning paper. The proud were cast down, and the hidden things of the earth were brought into judgment. Beasts rose from the deep, nations trembled, and the balance between light and darkness began to collapse. For it was written that nothing hidden would remain forever hidden, and everything broken would one day be revealed. And in the final unfolding, the heavens drew near to the earth once more.
The earliest lines of Genesis, there is a passage that stands out. The sons of God saw the daughters of men, and they took them. It is short, but it begins a much larger story. In the Book of Enoch tradition, these beings are described as watchers. They were not human. They were not meant to live on earth, but they descended. They chose to enter the world of mankind. And they did more than observe. They changed it. They took human wives. And from that union, ancient texts describe the birth of the Nephilim. The giants, they are described as mighty beings, larger than ordinary men, stronger, more dominant. Their presence alone was enough to shift the balance of the world. But it was not just their size. The Watchers are said to have revealed knowledge, not simple knowledge, but powerful knowledge, weapons, techniques, things humanity had never known before. And instead of improving the world, it corrupted it. Violence spread, conflict became constant, and humanity began to lose control of its own path. In these ancient writings, the earth is described as becoming filled with corruption, not in one place, but everywhere. And the giants stood at the center of it. In the Book of Enoch, the story continues. The Watchers are judged. They are no longer free. They are bound. Removed from the world they entered, but what they created remains. The giants are still present, still powerful, still part of a world that has changed. And then the flood begins. In Genesis, it is described as waters covering the earth, rising beyond control, reaching every place, not as random destruction, but as a response to what the world had become. Everything is affected, everything is covered. And in this moment, the giants are no longer described the same way. They do not remain central to the story. They disappear from detailed mention, leaving only fragments behind. In later passages, there are still brief references, hints that something like them existed, but never explained fully again. And across other ancient cultures, similar stories appear. Giants, mighty beings, figures larger than ordinary men. Not identical stories, but familiar ones. And even in Revelation, the pattern of judgment remains. A world changing, a response from beyond, and a separation between what continues and what does not.
The sky was no longer held above the earth. It became one with the silence. The seas rose, then forgot their fury. The winds ceased as if they had never been spoken. What stood in defiance was lowered without sound, not by hand, but by the writing of something older than breath. And every tower of pride returned to distance. Every name that claimed eternity was swallowed by time itself. There was no victory, no defeat, only the ending of what was permitted to begin. And in the stillness that remained, even memory bowed to dust without resistance.
The truth about the giants was erased, not by accident, but for a reason. So what were they really? Good or something else? And why were we never meant to know? think about it.